Found the nymph, all right.
The nymph Coyly through parting fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me just say a little something to the YouTube video people, which is that we are continuing today with the Circe episode. And I will post a key phrase and keyword with the video. I'll also post a link to a Gutenberg version of Finnegan's Wake in case you would like to read along while watching the video. And with that, I am ready to go. So we start with the nymph, Coyly, through parting fingers. There, in the open air, the yews sweeping downward. Sister, yes, and on our virgin sward, the waterfall. Pula puka, pula puka, pula puka, pula puka. The nymph with wide fingers. Oh, infamy. Bloom. I was precocious. Youth, the fawns. I sacrificed to the god of the forest. The flowers that bloom in the spring, it was pairing time. Capillary attraction is a natural phenomenon. Lottie Clark, flaxen-haired, I saw at her night toilet through ill-closed curtains, with poor Papa's opera glasses. Wanton to ate grass wildly, she rolled downhill at Rialto Bridge to tempt me. With her flow of animal spirits, she climbed their crooked tree, and I, a saint, couldn't refuse it. The demon possessed me. Besides, who saw? Staggering Bob, a white polled calf, thrust a ruminating head with humid nostrils through the foliage. Staggering Bob, me see. Bloom, simply satisfying a need with pathos. No girl would when I went girling. Too ugly they wouldn't play. High on Ben Houth, through rhododendrons and nanny goat passes, plum puttering, buddy-tailed, dropping currants. The nanny goat bleats. Bloom, hatless, flushed, covered with burrs of thistledown and gorse pine, regularly engaged, circumstances after cases. He gazes intently downward on the water, 32 head over heels per second. Press nightmare. Giddy Elijah fall from cliff. Sad end of government printer's clerk. Though through silver silent summer air, the dummy of Bloom rolled in a mummy, rolls rotatingly from the lion's head cliff into the purple waiting waters. Next, please.
The dummy mummy. Far out in the bay, between Bailey and Kish lights, the Erin's king sails, sending a broadening plume of coal smoke from her funnel towards the land. Councillor Nitty, alone on deck, in dark alpaca, yellow, kite-faced, his hand in his waistcoat opening, declaims, "When my country takes her place among the nations of the earth, then and not till then, let my epitaph be written, I have Bloom done." The nymph, loftily, "We immortals, as you saw today, have not such a place, and no hair either. We are stone cold and pure. We eat electric light." She arches her back in lascivious crispation, placing her forefinger in her mouth. Spoke to me, heard from behind. How then could you? Bloom, pacing the heather abjectly. "Oh, I have been a perfect pig, enemas too. I have administered one third of a pint of quassia, to which add a tablespoon of rock salt, up the fundament with Hamilton Long's syringe, the lady's friend, nymph, in my presence. A powder puff. She blushes and makes a knee. And the rest. Bloom dejected. Yes, Pecavoy. I have paid homage on that living altar where the back changes name with sudden fervor. For why should the dainty scented jewel hand, the hand that rules? Figures wind serpenting in slow woodland pattern around the tree stems, cooing. Katrina.
The voice of Kitty in the thicket. Show us one of them cushions. The voice of Florrie. Here. A grouse wings clumsily through the underwood. The voice of Lynch in the thicket. Whew, piping hot. The voice of Zoe in the thicket. Came from a hot place. The voice of Virag. A bird chief blue streaked and feathered in a war panoply of his assegai, striding through a crackling canebrake over beech masts and acorns. Hot, hot, beware Sitting Bull. Or where Sitting Bull, sorry. It overpowers me, Bloom, it overpowers me, the warm impress of her warm form, even to sit where a woman has sat, especially with divaricated thighs, as though to grant the last favors, most especially with previously well uplifted white sateen coat pans, so womanly, full. It fills me full. The waterfall. Filafula, pulafuka, pulafuka, pulafuka. The ewes. Shh, sister, speak. The nymph. Eyeless, in nun's white habit, coif and huge winged wimple, softly with remote eyes. Tranquilla convent. Sister Agatha, Mount Carmel. The apparitions of Knock and Lourdes, no more desire. She reclines her head, sighing. Only the ethereal, where dreamy, creamy gull waves o'er the waters dull. Bloom half rises, his black trouser buttons snap. Bip! Two sluts of the calm dance rainily by, shawling, yelling flatly. Next, please.
The sluts. Oh, Leopold lost the pin of his drawers. He didn't know what to do to keep it up, to keep it up. Bloom, coldly. You have broken the spell, the last straw. If there were only ethereal, where would you all be? Postulants and novices, shy, but willing like an ass pissing to use. Their silver foil of leaves precipitating, their skinny arms aging and swaying deciduously. The nymph, her features hardening, gropes in the folds of her habit. Sacrilege, to attempt my virtue. A large, moist stain appears on her robe. Sully my innocence. You are not fit to touch the garment of a pure woman. She clutches again in her robe. Wait, Satan, you'll sing no more love songs. Amen, 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 amen. She draws a poniard and clad in the sheath mail of an elected knight of 9, strikes at his loins. Nigam. Bloom starts up, seizes her hand. Hoy, Nebuchadnezzar, cat of 9 lives. Fair play, madam. No pruning knife. The fox and the grapes, is it? What do you lack with your barbed wire? Crucifix not thick enough? He clutches her veil. A holy abbot you want, or Brophy, the lame gardener, or the spoutless statue of the water carrier, or good mother Alphonsus, eh, Renard? The nymph, with a cry, flees from him unveiled, her plastic cast cracking, a cloud of stench escaping from the cracks. Polly, Bloom calls after her, as if you didn't get it on the double yourselves. No jerks and multiple muscosities all over you. I tried it. Your strength, our weakness. What's our stud fee? What will you pay on the nail? You female dancers on the Riviera, I read. The fleeing nymph raises a key. Eh? I have 16 years of black slave labor behind me, And would a jury give me 5 shillings alimony tomorrow, eh? Fool someone else, not me. He sniffs rut, onions, stale, sulfur, grease. The figure of Bella Cohen stands before him. Bella, you'll know me the next time. Bloom, composed, regards her. Passe, mutton dressed as lamb, long in the tooth and superfluous hair. A raw onion the last thing at night would benefit your complexion. And take some double chin drill. Your eyes are as vapid as the glass eyes of your stuffed fox. They have the dimensions of your other features, that's all. I'm not a triple screw propeller. Bella contemptuously. You're not game, in fact. A sow cunt barks. Bloom contemptuously. Clean your nailless middle finger first. Your bully's cold spunk is dripping from your coxcomb. Take a handful of hay and wipe yourself. Bella, I know you canvasser, dead cod. Bloom, I saw him, kip keeper, pox, and bleak vendor. Next.
Bella turns to the piano. Which of you was playing the Dead March from Saul? Zoe. Me. Mind your cornflowers. She darts to the piano and bangs chords on it with crossed arms. The cats ramble through the slag. She glances back. Hey, who's making love to my sweeties? She darts back to the table. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is my own. Kitty, disconcerted, coats her teeth with the silver paper. Bloom approaches Zoe. Bloom, gently. Give me back that potato, will you? Zoe, forfeit's a fine thing and a superfine thing. Bloom, with feeling. It is nothing, but still a relic of poor mama. Zoe, give a thing and take it back. God will ask you, where is that? You say you don't know. God will send you down below. Bloom, there is a memory attached to it. I should like to have it. Stephen, to have or not to have, that is the question. Zoe, here. She holds up a reef of her slip, revealing her bare thigh, and unrolls the potato from the top of her stocking. Those that hides knows where to find. Bella frowns. Here, this isn't a musical peep show. And don't you smash that piano. Who's paying here? She goes to the pianola. Stephen fumbles in his pocket and, taking out a banknote by its corner, hands it to her. Stephen, with exaggerated politeness. This silken purse I made out of the sow's ear of the public. Madam, excuse me, if you allow me. He indicates vaguely Lynch and Bloom. We are all in the same sweepstake, Kinch and Lynch. Salsa bordel uteno nostreta. Lynch calls from the hearth. Daedalus, give her your blessing for me. Stephen hands Bella a coin. Gold, she has it. Bella looks at the money, then at Zoe, Florrie, and Kitty. Do you want 3 girls? It's 10 shillings here. Stephen, delightedly. 100,000 apologies. He fumbles again and takes out and hands her 2 crowns. Permit, brevi manu. My sight is somewhat troubled. Bella goes to the table to count the money, while Stephen talks to himself in monosyllables. Zoe bounds over to the table. Kitty leans over Zoe's neck. Lynch gets up, rights his cap, and clasping Kitty's waist, adds his head to the group. Florrie strives heavily to rise. Oh, my foot's asleep. She limps over to the table. Bloom approaches. Bella, Zoe, Kitty, Lynch, Bloom, chattering and squabbling. The gentleman, 10 shillings, paying for the 3. Allow me a moment. This gentleman pays separate. Who's touching it? Ow, mind who you're pinching. Are you staying the night or a short time? Who did? You're a liar, excuse me. The gentleman paid down like a gentleman. Drink, it's long after 11. Next, please.
Stephen at the pianola making a gesture of abhorrence. No bottles. What? 11. A riddle. Zoe. lifting up her pettigown and folding a half sovereign into the tip of her stocking. Hard errand on the flat in my back. Lynch, lifting Kitty from the table. Come, Kitty, wait. She clutches the 2 crowns. And me, Florrie. Lynch, hoopla. He lifts her, carries her, and humps her down on the sofa. Stephen, the fox crew, the cock flew, the bells in heaven were striking 11. 'Tis time for her poor soul to get out of heaven. Bloom quietly lays a half sovereign on the table between Bella and Florrie. So allow me. He takes up the pound note. 3 times 10. We're square. Bella admiringly. You're such a sly boots, old cocky, I could kiss you. Zoe points. Deep as a draw well. Lynch bends Kitty back over the sofa and kisses her. Bloom goes with the pound note to Stephen. Bloom, this is yours. Stephen, how is that? Le distraught or absent-minded beggar. He fumbles again in his pocket and draws out a handful of coins. An object falls. That fell. Bloom, stooping, picks up and hands a box of matches. This. Stephen, Lucifer, thanks. Bloom quietly. You had better hand over that cash to me to take care of. Why pay more? Stephen hands him all his coins. Be just before you are generous. Bloom, I will, but is it wise? He counts. 1, 7, 11, and 5, 6, 11. I don't answer for what you may have lost. Stephen, why striking 11? Propar oxyton. Moment before the next blessing says, thirsty fox, he laughs loudly. Burying his grandmother, probably he killed her. Bloom, this is £1.6 and 11. £1.7, say. Stephen, doesn't matter, a rambling dam. Bloom, no but. Stephen comes to the table. Cigarette, please. Lynch tosses a cigarette from the sofa to the table. And so Georgina Johnson is dead and married. A cigarette appears on the table. Stephen looks at it. Wonder, parlor magic, married him. He strikes a match and proceeds to light the cigarette, an enigmatic melancholy. Lynch, watching him. You would have a better chance of lighting it if you held the match nearer. Stephen brings the match nearer his eye. Lynch's eye must get glasses. Broke them yesterday, 16 years ago. Distance. The eye sees all flat. He draws the match away. It goes out. Brain thinks, near, far, ineluctable modality of the visible. He frowns mysteriously. Sphinx. The breast that has 2 backs at midnight. Married. Zoe. It was a commercial traveler married her and took her away with him. Florrie nods. Mr. Lamb from London. Stephen, Lamb of London, who takes away the sins of our world. Lynch, embracing Kitty on the sofa, chants deeply. Donna nobis paxum. The cigarette stems from Stephen's finger. Bloom picks it up and throws it into the grate. Next, please.
Okay, let me interrupt just
No.
for a second. Let's see, Lois, would you tell us what page you're on?
457.
Okay, I think you have, Sylvia, I think you have bodily head. Do you have the bodily head today?
Oh, yeah, I've got a page. I've got the page.
Okay, okay. So
Excellent.
we'll be ready to read after Anne then, I guess.
Yes,
Okay.
thank
All
you.
right, on we go.
Excellent. Okay. Bloom, don't smoke. You ought to eat. Cursed dog I met. To Zoe, you have nothing. Zoe, is he hungry? Stephen extends his hand to her, smiling, and chants to the air of blood out in the dusk of the gods. Hangende hunger, fragende frau, mostus elle caput. Zoe, tragically. Hamlet, I am thy father, Gimlet. She takes his hand. Blue-eyed beauty, I'll read your hand. She points to his forehead. No wit, no wrinkles. She counts. 2, 3, Mars. That's courage. Stephen shakes his head. No kid. Lynch, sheet lightning courage. The youth who could not shiver and shake. To Zoe, who taught you palmistry. Zoe turns, as my bollocks I done got. To Stephen, I see it in your face. The eye like that. She frowns with lowered head. Lynch, laughing, slaps Kitty behind twice. Like that. Pandybat. Twice loudly a pandybat cracks. The coffin of the pianola flies open. The bald little round jack-in-the-box head of Father Dolan springs up. Father Dolan, any boy want flogging? Broke his glasses. Lazy-eyed little schemer. Seat in your eye. Mild, benign, rhetorical reproving. The head of Don John Conmee rises from the pianola coffin. Don John Conmee. Now, Father Dolan, now. I'm sure that Stephen is a very good little boy. Zoe, examining Stephen's palm, woman's hand. Stephen murmurs, continue. Lie, hold me, caress. I never could read his handwriting, except his criminal thumbprint on the haddock. Zoe, what day were you born? Stephen, Thursday, today. Zoe, Thursday's child has far to go. She traces lines on his hand, line of fate, influential friends. Florrie, pointing, imagination. Zoe, Mount of the Moon. You'll meet with the... She pierces his hands abruptly. I won't tell you what's not good for you. Or do you want to know? Bloom detaches her fingers and offers his palm. More harm than good here. Read mine. Bella, sure. She turns up Bloom's hand. I thought so. Knobbly knuckles for the woman. Zoe, peering at Bloom's palm. Griderian, travels beyond the sea and marry money. Bloom, wrong. Zoe quickly. Oh, I see. Short little finger, hen-picked husband. That wrong? Black Liz, a huge rooster hatching in a chalked circle, rises, stretches her rings and clucks. Black Liz, gotta, cluck, cluck, cluck. She slides from her new-laid eggs and waddles off. Next, please.
Oh, Bloom points to his hand. That wheel there is an accident. Fell and cut it 22 years ago. I was 16. Zoe. I see, says the blind man. Tell us the news. Stephen. See? Moves to one great goal. I'm 22. 16 years ago, he was 22 too. 16 years ago, 22 tumbled. 22 years ago, he fell off his hobby horse, which is hurt my hand somewhere. Must see a dentist. Money? Zoe whispers to Florrie. They giggle. Bloom releases his hand and writes idly on the table in backhand, penciling slow curves. Florrie, what? A hackney car, number 324, with a gallant buttock mare, driven by James Barron, Harmony Avenue, Donnybrook, trots past. Blazes Boylan and Lenihan sprawl, swaying on the sidecars. The Ormond boots crouch behind on the axle. Sadly over the cross blind, Lydia Douche and Mrs. Kennedy gaze the boots. Jogging, mocks them with thumb and wiggling worm fingers. Ha ha, have you the horn? Bronze by gold, they whisper. Zoe to Florrie. Whisper. She whispers again. Over the well of the car, Blazes Boylan leans, his boater straw hat sideways, a red flower in his mouth. Lenihan in yachtsman cap and white shoes officiously detaches a long hair from Blazes Boylan's coat shoulder. Lenihan, oh, what do I here behold? Were you brushing the cobwebs off a few quims? Boylan, sated, smiles, plucking a turkey. Lenihan, oh, good night's work. Boylan, holding up 4 thick, blunt-ungulated fingers, winks, blazes Kate. Up to sample or your money back. He holds a forefinger. Smell that. Lenihan smells gleefully. Ah, lobster and mayonnaise. Ah. Zoe and Florrie laugh together. Ha 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 ha. Boylan jumps surely from the car and calls loudly for all to hear. Hello, Bloom. Mrs. Bloom dressed yet? Bloom, in flunky prune plush coat and knee breeches, buff stockings, and powdered wig. I'm afraid not, sir. The last articles. Boylan tosses him a 6pence. Here, buy yourself a gin and splash. He hangs his hat smartly on the peg of Bloom's antlered head. Show me in. I have a little private business with your wife. You understand? Bloom, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Madam Tweedy is in her bath, sir. Marion, he ought to feel himself highly honoured. She plumps, splashing out of the water. Raoul, darling, come and dry me. I'm in my pelt. Only my new hat and a carriage sponge. Boylan, a merry twinkle in his eyes, topping. Next.
Bella, what is it? Zoe whispers to her. Marion, let him look, the pissog, pimp, and he'll scourge himself. I'll write to a powerful prostitute, our Bartholomona, the bearded woman, to raise wheels out on him, an inch thick, and make him bring me back a signed and stamped receipt. Bella, laughing, ho, 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 ho. Boylan, to Bloom over her shoulder. You can apply your eye to the keyhole and play with yourself while I just go through her a few times. Bloom, thank you, sir. I will, sir. May I bring 2 men churns to witness the deed and take a snapshot? He holds an ointment jar. Vaseline, sir? Orange water? Lukewarm water? Kitty from the sofa. Tell us, Florrie. Tell us. What? Florrie whispers to her. Whispering love words murmured, lip-lapping loudly, Papesmic Plosslop. Mina Kennedy, her eyes upturned. Oh, it must be like the scent of geraniums and lovely peaches. Oh, he simply idolizes every bit of her. Stuck together, covered with kisses. Lydia Douce, her mouth opening. Yum, yum. Oh, he's carrying her around the room, doing it right a cock-horse. You can hear them in Paris and New York like mouthfuls of strawberries and cream. Kitty, laughing, hee, hee, hee. Boylan's voice, sweetly, hoarsely in the pit of his stomach. Ah, goose blaskuk, roots crack scratch. Marion's voice, hoarsely, sweetly rising into her throat. Oh, we schwa kiss me, push we schwa push rock. Bloom, his eyes wildly dilated, clasped himself. Show, hide, show, flower, more, shoot. Bella, Zoe, Florrie, Kitty. Oh, ha ha, hee hee. Lynch points. The mirror's up to nature. He laughs. Bloom, Stephen and Bloom gaze in the mirror. The face of William Shakespeare, beardless, appears there, rigid in facial paralysis, crowned by the reflection of the reindeer antlered hat rack in the hall. Joe.
Shakespeare in dignified ventriloquy, 'tis the loud laugh bespeaks the vacant mind. To Bloom, thou thoughtest as how thou wasted in that how thou wastest invisible gaze. He crows with the black capon's laugh. I go. How my old fellow choked his Thursday mum. I go, go, go. Bloom smiles yellowly at the whores. When will I hear the joke? Zoe, before you're twice married and once a widower. Bloom, lapses are condoned. Even the great Napoleon, when measurements were taken near the skin after his death. Mrs. Dignam, widow woman, her snub nose and cheeks flushed with death talk, tears, and Tunny's tawny sherry, hurries by in her weeds, her bonnet awry, rouging and powdering her cheeks, lips, and nose, a pen chivying her brood of signets. Beneath her skirt appear her late husband's everyday trousers and turned-up boots, large eights. She holds a Scottish widow's insurance policy and large marquee umbrella under which her brood runs with her. Patsy hopping on one short foot, his collar loose, a bank of pork steaks dangling. Freddie whimpering, Susie with a crying cod's mouth, Alice struggling with the baby. She cuffs them on, her streamers flaunting aloft. Freddie, Ma, you're dragging me along. Susie, Mama, the beef tea's fizzing over. Shakespeare, with paralytic rage, with a second who I'll kill her first. The face of Martin Cunningham, bearded, refeatures Shakespeare's beardless face. The marquee umbrella sways drunkenly. The children run aside. Under the umbrella appears Mrs. Cunningham in merry widow hat and kimono gown. She glides, sidling and bowing, twisting Japanesely. Mrs. Cunningham sings, and they call me the jewel of Asia. Martin Cunningham gazes on her impassive, immense, most bloody awful demi-rep. Stephen, ex tabor cornua justi, queens lay with prize bulls. Remember Pasiphae, whose lust for my grand old grossfather made me the first confession box. Forget me not, Madame Griselle Stevens, nor the Sweeney Science of the House of Lambert. And Noah was drunk with wine, and his ark was open. Bella, none of that here. Come to the wrong shop. Lynch, let him alone. He's back from Paris. Trina.
Zoe runs to Stephen and links him. Oh, go on, give us some parlez-vous. Stephen claps hat on head and leaps over to the fireplace, where he stands with shrugged shoulders, finny hands outspread, a painted smile on his face. Lynch pummeling on the sofa. Rum, 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 rum. Stephen gabbles with marionette jerks. 1,000 places of entertainment to expense your evenings with lovely ladies, selling gloves and other things. Perhaps hers heart, beer chops perfect, fashionable house, very eccentric, where lots cocottes, beautiful dressed, much about princesses like our dancing can and walking their Parisian clowneries, extra foolish for bachelors foreigners, the same if talking a poor English, how much smart they are on things love and sensations voluptuous. Mister's very select for his pleasure must to visit heaven and hell, show with mortuary candles, and they tears silver which occur every night. Perfectly shocking, terrific of religions, things, mockery, seen in universal world. All chic women's which arrive full of modesty, then disrobe and squeal loud to see vampire man, debauched nun, very fresh, young with dessous troublant. He clacks his tongue loudly. Oh la la, c'est pif qu'il y a. Lynch, Vive le vampire. The whores. Bravo, parlez-vous. Stephen, with head back, laughs loudly, clapping himself, grimacing. Great success of laughing. Angels much prostitute-like, and holy apostles, big damn ruffians, demi-mondanes, nicely handsome, sparkling of diamonds, very amiable, costumed. Or do you are fond better what belongs they modern's pleasure, turpitude of old man? He points about him with grotesque gestures, which Lynch and the whores reply to. Statue woman reversible or life-size. Tom Peep, Tom of virgins nudities, very lesbic, the kiss 5-10 times. Enter gentlemen to see in mirror every positions, trapezes, all that machines there, besides also if desire act awfully bestial butcher's boy, pollutes in warm veal liver or omelet on the belly, pièce de Shakespeare. Next, please.
Bella, clapping her belly, sinks back on the sofa with a shout of laughter. An omelet on the omelet on the Stephen, mincingly. I love you, sir, darling. Speak you Englishman tongue for a double entendre cordial. Oh, yes, mon loup. How much cost? Waterloo. What a closet. He ceases suddenly and holds up a forefinger. Bella, laughing. Omelette, the whores, laughing. Encore, encore. Stephen, mark me. I dreamed of a watermelon. Zoe, go abroad and love a foreign lady. Lynch, across the world for a wife. Florrie, dreams goes by contraries. Stephen extends his arms. It was here, street of harlots, in Serpentine Avenue. Beelzebub showed me her, a fubsy widow. Where's the red carpet spread? Bloom, approaching Stephen. Look, Stephen, no, I flew. My foes beneath me, and ever shall be, world without end, he cries. Kaita, free. Bloom, I say, look, Stephen, break my spirit, will you? Oh, mad Allah, he cries, his vulture talons sharpened. Hola, Hilio. Simon Dayliss' voice high-lows in answer, somewhat sleepy but ready. Simon, that's all right. He sweeps uncertainly through the air, wheeling, uttering cries of heartening on strong, ponderous buzzard wings. Oh boy, are you going to win? Whoop! Stable with those half-castes. Wouldn't let them within the ball of an ass. Head up, keep our flag flying. An eagle grew volant in a field argent displayed. Ulster king at arms, hey hoop. He makes the beagle's call, giving tongue. Boo, 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 hi, boy. The fronds and spaces of the wallpaper file rapidly cross country. A stout fox drawn from covert, brush pointed, having buried his grandmother, runs swift for the open, bright-eyed, seeking badger earth under the eaves. The pack of stage hounds follows, nose to ground, sniffing their quarry, beagle baying, burble burling to be blooded. Ward Union huntsmen and huntswomen live with them, hot for a kill. From 6 Mile Point, Flathouse, 9 Mile Stone, flow the foot people with knotty sticks, hay forks, salmon gaffs, lassos, flog masters with stock whips, bear baiters with tom-toms, toreadors with bull swords, gray Negroes waving torches, the crowd bowls of dicers, crown and anchor players, thimble riggers, broadsmen, crows and touts, horse bookies and high wizard hats clamor deafeningly. Next.
Crowd. Card on the races, racing card, 10-1 the field. Tommy on the clay here, Tommy on the clay. 10-1 bar 1, 10-1 bar 1. Try your luck on spinning Jenny. 10-1 bar 1. Sell the monkey, boys, sell the monkey. I'll give 10-1, 10-1 bar 1. Dark horse, riderless, bolts like a phantom past the winning post. His mane moon foaming, his eyeballs stars. The field follows, a bunch of bucking mounts, skeleton horses, Scepter, Maximum II, Zinfandel, the Duke of Westminster's shot over, Repulse, the Duke of Beaufort's Ceylon, Prix de Paris. Dwarfs ride them, rusty armoured, leaping in their saddles, last in a drizzle of rain on a broken-winded Isabel nag. Cock of the North, the favourite, honeycap, green jacket, orange sleeves, Garrett Deasy up, gripping the reins, a hockey stick at the ready. His nag, stumbling on white-gaitered feet, jogs along the rocky road. The orange lodges jeering. Get down and push, mister. Last lap, you'll be home the night. Garrett Deasy, bolt upright, his nail-scraped face plastered with postage stamps, brandishes his hockey stick, his blue eyes flashing in the prism of the chandelier as his mount lopes by at a schooling gallop. Per vias rectus, a yoke of buckets, leopards all over him and his rearing nag, a torrent of mutton broth with dancing coins of carrots, barley, onions, turnips, potatoes, the green lodges. Soft day, Sir John, soft day, Your Honour. Private Car, Private Compton and Sissy Caffrey pass beneath the windows, singing in discord. Stephen, hark, our friend, noise in the street. Zoe holds up her hand. Stop. Private Car, Private Compton and Sissy Caffrey. Yes, I've a sort of a Yorkshire relish for the... Zoe, that's me. She claps her hands. Dance, dance. She runs to the pianola. Who is tuppence? Bloom. Who? Lynch handing her coins. Here. Stephen cracking his fingers impatiently. Quick, quick. Where's my augur's rod? He runs to the piano and takes his ash plant, beating his foot in tripudium. Zoe turns the drum handle. There. She drops 2 pennies in the slot. Gold, pink, and violet lights start forth. The drum turns, purring in low hesitation was Professor Goodwin in a bow-knotted periwig, in court dress, wearing a stained Inverness cape, bent in two from incredible age, totters across the room, his hands fluttering. He sits tinily on the piano stool and lifts and beats handless sticks of arms on the keyboard, nodding with damsel's grace, his bow knot and bobbing. Zoe twirls around herself, heel tapping. Dance? Anybody here for there? Who'll dance? Next, please.
The pianola with changing lights plays in waltz time, the prelude of My Girl's a Yorkshire Girl. Stephen throws his ash plant on the table and seizes Zoe around the waist. Florrie and Bella push the table towards the fireplace. Stephen, arming Zoe with exaggerated grace, begins to waltz her around the room. Her sleeve, falling from gracing arms, reveals a white flesh flower of vaccination. Bloom stands aside. Between the curtains, Professor McGeaney inserts a leg on the toe point of which he spins a silk hat. With a deft kick, he sends it spinning to his crown, and jaunty-hatted skates in. He wears a slate frock coat with claret silk lapels, a gorget of cream tulle, a green low-cut waistcoat, stock collar with white kerchief, tight lavender trousers, patent pumps, and canary gloves. In his buttonhole is a Delilah. He twirls in reverse directions, a clouded cane, then wedges it tight in his oxter. He places a hand limply on his breastbone, bows and fondles his flower and buttons. McGeaney, the poetry of motion, art of calisthenics, no connection with Madame Leggett-Burn or Livingstone's fancy dress balls arranged deportment, the Catty Lanner steps. So watch me, my terpsichorean abilities. He minutes forward 3 paces on tripping bee's feet. Tout le monde in avant, reverence, tout le monde en place. The prelude ceases. Professor Goodwin, beating vague arms, shrivels, shrinks, his live cape falling around the stool. The air in firmer waltz time pounds. Stephen and Zoe circle freely. The lights change, glow, fade, gold, rose, violet. The pianola. Two young fellas were talking about their girls, sweethearts they left behind. From a corner, the morning hours run out, golden-haired, slim in girlish blue, wasp-waisted with innocent hands. Nimbly they dance, twirling their skipping ropes. The hours of noon follow in amber gold, laughing, linked, high hair combs flashing. They catch the sun in mocking mirrors, lifting their arms. Magini, clip-claps, glove-silent hands. Carry, avanto, breathes evenly. Balance. The morning and noon hours waltz in their places, turning, advancing to each other, shaping their curves, bowing vis-a-vis. Cavaliers behind them arch and suspend their arms, with hands descending to, touching, rising from their shoulders. Ours. You may touch my cavaliers. May I touch your? Ours. Oh, but lightly. Cavaliers. Oh, so lightly. The pianola. My little shy little lass has a waist. Zoe and Stephen turn boldly with looser swing. The twilight hours advance from long land shadows dispersed, lagging languidly, their cheeks delicate, their kipira and false faint bloom. They are in grey gauze with dark hat sleeves that flutter in the land breeze. Magini, avant oui, traverse, salut, cour d'ama, Jose. The night hours steal to the last place. Morning, noon, and twilight hours retreat before them. They are masked with daggered hair and bracelets of dull bells. Weary, they curchy under veils. Next, please.
The bracelets. Hey ho, hey ho. Zoe, twisting her hand to her brow. Oh. Magini, les tirores, j'en de dames, la corbelle, dos. Arabesque wearily, they weave a pattern on the floor, weaving, unweaving, courtesing, twisting, simply swirling. Zoe, I'm giddy. She frees herself, droops on a chair. Stephen seizes Florrie and turns with her. Magini, Boulagange, les runs, les ponts, chevaux, de bois escargots. Twining, receding, with interchanging hands, the night hours link, each with arching arms, in a mosaic of movements. Stephen and Florrie turn cumbrously. Magini, dans sa vos dames, chandelles de dames, donnez le pays bouquet vote dames, remise, the pianola. Best of all, baram boom. Kitty jumps up. Oh, they played that on the hobby horses at the Myers Bazaar. She runs to Stephen. He leaves Florrie brusquely and seizes Kitty. A screaming, bitter and harsh, high whistle shrieks. Groan, grousing. Sorry, 1 second, put on silent. Oops. Okay, tops, cumbersome, whirling, turn slowly the room round about the room. The pianola. My girl's a Yorkshire girl. Zoe, Yorkshire through and through. Come on all. She seizes Florrie and waltzes her. Stephen, Passoa. He wheels Kitty into Lynch's arms, snatches up his ash plant from the table and takes the floor. All wheel, whirl, waltz, twirl. Bloom, Bella, Kitty Lynch, Florrie, Zoe, Jujubee, woman. Stephen with hat, ash plant, frog splits in middle, high kicks, you can see that, with sky kicking mouth. Shut hand clasp part under thigh, with clang tinker, boom hammer, tally ho, horn blower, blue, green, yellow flashes, tops, cumbersome turns with hobby horse, riders from gilded snakes, dangled, bounds, fandango, leaping, spurn, soil foot and fall again. The pianola, though she's a factory lass and wears no factory clothes. close clutch, swifter, with glare brazier, blare filare, scudding, they suit, shoot, lambering by babarum. Next, please.
Tutti, encore, bis, bravo, encore. Simon, think of your mother's people. Stephen, dance of death. Bang, fresh, barang, bang of lackey's bell. Horse, nag, steer, piglings. Con me on Christ task. Lame clutch and leg sailor in cockboat, arm folded, rope pulling, hitching stamp horn through and through, bara bum, on nags, hogs, bell horses, garden, reen, swine, corny and coffin, steel shark stone, one-handled Nelson, two trickies, Freund Zimmer, plume stained from pram falling broiling, mauling. Gum, he's a champion. Fish blue pier from Bar Rev, Evensong. Love on Hackney Jaunt. Blazes blind, cod double, bicyclers, dilly with snow cake, no fancy clothes. Then at last, switchback, lumbering up and down, bump mash tub, sort of viceroy, and rain relish for tub lumber, bumpshire rose, bara bum. The couples fall aside. Stephen whirls giddily. Room whirls back. Eyes closed, he totters. Red reels fly spacewards. Stars all around sun turn roundabout. Bright midges dance on the wall. He stops. He stops dead. Stephen, who? Stephen's mother, emaciated, rises stark through the floor in leper grey with a wreath of faded orange blossoms and a torn bridal veil. Her face worn and noseless, green with grave mold. Her hair is scant and lank. She fixes her blue circled hollow sockets on Stephen and opens her toothless mouth, uttering a silent word. Choir of virgins and confessors sing voicelessly. The choir. Liliata rotulantium e confessorum e lubiantum te virginum. From the top of a tower, Buck Mulligan, in party-collared jester's dress of puce and yellow and clown's cap with a curling bell, stands gaping at her and smoking a split scone in his hand. Buck Mulligan, she's beastly dead, the pity of it. Mulligan meets the afflicted mother. He upturns his eyes. Mercurial Malachi, the mother, with a supple smile of dead madness. There was once beautiful May Golding. I'm dead. Stephen, horror-struck. Lemur, who are you? No, what bogeyman's trick is this? Buck Mulligan, shaking his curling cap bell, the mockery of it. Kinch dog's body killed her bitch body. She kicked the bucket. Tears of molten butter fall from his eyes onto the scone. Our great sweet mother, Epi Ospua Ponton, the mother coming nearer, breathing upon him softly, her breath of wetted ashes. All must go through it, Stephen. More women than men in the world. You too. Time will come. Stephen, choking with fright, remorse, and horror. They say I killed you, Mother. He offended your memory. Cancer did it, not I. Destiny. The mother, a green rill of bile trickling from the side of her mouth. You sang that song to me, love's bitter mystery. Stephen, eagerly. Tell me the word, Mother, if you know now. The word known to all men. Next, ooh, real Halloween.
Yes. The mother. Who saved you the night you jumped into the train at Dalkey with Paddy Lee? Who had pity for you when you were sad among the strangers? Prayer is all powerful. Prayer for the suffering souls in the Ursuline manual and 40 days indulgence. Repent, Stephen. Stephen. The ghoul, hyena. The mother. I pray for you in my other world. Get Dilly to make you that boiled rice every night after your brain work. Years and years I loved you, oh, my son, my firstborn, when you lay in my womb. Zoe, fanning herself with the great fan. I'm melting. Florrie points to Stephen. Look, he's white. Bloom goes to the window to open it more. Giddy. The mother with smoldering eyes. Repent. The fire of hell. Stephen, panting. The corpse chewer, raw head and bloody bones. The mother, her face drawing nearer and nearer, sending out an ashen breath. Beware. She raises her black and withered right arm slowly towards Stephen's breast with outstretched fingers. Beware, God's hand. A green crab with malignant red eyes sticks deep its grinning claws in Stephen's heart. Stephen, strangled with rage. Shite! His features grow drawn and gray and old. Bloom at the window. What? Stephen, non par exemple. The intellectual imagination with me, all or not all. Non serviam. Florrie, give him some cold water. Wait, she rushes out. The mother wrings her hand slowly, moaning desperately. Oh, Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on him. Save him from hell. Oh, divine Sacred Heart. Stephen, no, break my spirit, all of you. If you can, I'll bring you all to heal. The mother, in agony of her death rattle. Have mercy on Stephen, Lord, for my sake. Inexpressible was my anguish when expiring with love, grief, and agony on Mount Calvary. Stephen, Natong! He lifts his ash plant high with both hands and smashes the chandelier. Time's livid final flame leaps, and in the following darkness, ruin of all space, shattered glass and toppling masonry, the gas jet. Boom! Next.
Bloom. Stop! Lynch rushes forward and seizes Stephen's hand. Here, hold on. Don't run amok. Bella, please! Stephen, abandoning his ash plant, his head and arms thrown back stark, beats the ground and flees from the room past the whores at the door. Bella screams, after him! The two whores rush to the hall doors. Lynch and Kitty and Zoe stampede from the room. They talk excitedly. Bloom follows, returns. The whores jammed in the doorway, pointing down there. Zoe pointing there. There's something up. Bella, who pays for the lamp? She seizes Bloom's coattail. There, you are with him. The lamp's broken. Bloom rushes to the hall, rushes back. What lamp, woman? A whore. He tore his coat. Bella, his eyes, her eyes, hard with anger and cupidity, points. Who's to pay for that? 10 shillings. You're a witness. Bloom snatches up Stephen's ash plant. Me? 10 shillings? Haven't you lifted enough off him? Didn't he? Bella loudly, here, none of your tall talk. This isn't a brothel, a 10-shilling house. Bloom, his hand under the lamp, pulls the chain. Pulling, the gas jet lights up. A crushed mauve purple shade. He raises the ash plant. Only the chimney's broken. Here's all he. Bella shrinks back and screams, Jesus, don't! Bloom wards off a blow. To show you how he hit the paper, there's not a sixpence worth of damage done. 10 shillings? Florrie with a glass of water enters. Where is he? Bella, do you want me to call the police? Bloom, oh, I know, bulldog on the premises, but he's a Trinity student. Patrons of your establishment, gentlemen that pay the rent. He makes a Masonic sign. Know what I mean? Nephew of the Vice-Chancellor. You don't want a scandal. Bella angrily, Trinity, coming down here ragging after the boat races and paying nothing. Are you my commander here? Who is he? I'll charge him, disgrace him, I will. She shouts, Zoe, Zoe. Bloom urgently, and if it were your own son in Oxford? Warningly, I know. Bella almost speechless. Who are you, incog? Katrina.
Zoe in the doorway. There's a row now. There's a row on. Bloom. What? Where? He throws a shilling on the table and starts. That's for the chimney. Where? I need mountain air. He hurries out through the hall. The whores point. Florrie follows, spilling water from her tilted tumbler. On the doorstep, all the whores clustered, talk volubly, pointing to the right where the fog has cleared off. From the left arrives a jingling hackney car. It slows to in front of the house. Bloom at the hall door perceives Corny Kelleher, who is about to dismount from the car with two silent lechers. He averts his face. Bella from within the hall urges on her whores. They blow icky licky sticky yum yum kisses. Corny Kelleher replies with a ghastly lewd smile. The silent lechers turn to pay the jarvey. Zoe and Kitty still point right. Bloom, parting them swiftly, draws his callous hood and poncho and hurries down the steps with sideways face. Incog Harun al-Rashid, he flips behind the silent lechers and hastens on by the railings with fleet step of a pard strewing the drag behind him, torn envelopes drenched in aniseed. The hash plant marks his stride. A pack of bloodhounds led by Hornblower of Trinity brandishing a dog whip and tally-ho cap and an old pair of gray trousers follow from far, picking up the scent, nearer, baying, panting, at fault, breaking away, throwing their tongues, biting his heels, leaping at his tail. He walks, runs, zigzags, gallops, lugs laid back. He is pelted with gravel, cabbage stumps, biscuit boxes, eggs, potatoes, dead codfish, a woman's slipper slappers. After him, fresh found, the hue and cry zigzag gallops in hot pursuit of follow my leader. Next, please. Lois,
Turn on your microphone, Lois.
Ah, 65C, 66C, Night Watch, John Henry Menton, Wisdom Healy, V.B. Dillon, Councillor Lanetti, Alexander Keyes, Larry O'Rourke, Joe Cuff, Mrs. O'Dowd, Pissa Burke, the Nameless One, Mrs. Reardon, the Citizen, Gary Owen, who do you call him? Strange Face, fellow what's alike, saw him before, Chip with the Haven, Chris Callanan, Sir Charles Cameron, Benjamin Dolan, Lenehan, Bartle Darcy, Joe Hines, Red Murray, Editor Braden, T.M. Healy, Mr. Justice Fitzgibbon, John Howard Parnell, the Reverend Tinned Salmon, Professor Jolly, Mrs. Breen, Dennis Breen, Theodore Purefoy, Mina Purefoy, the Westland Row Postmistress, C.P. McCoy, Friend of Lions, Hoppy Holohan, Man on the Street, Other Man on the Street, Football Boots, Pug-Nosed Driver, Rich Protestant Lady, Davy Byrne, Mrs. Ellen McGinnis, Mrs. Joe Gallagher, George Lidwell, Jimmy Henry on Corns, Superintendent Laracy, Father Cowley, Crofton out of the Collector General's, Dan Dawson, Dental Surgeon Bloom with tweezers, Mrs. Bob Duran, Mrs. Kennefick, Mrs. Wise Nolan, John Wise Nolan, handsome married woman rubbed against wide behind in Cluck's Kintram, the bookseller of Sweets of Sin, Miss Dubeden and Shedden, Madame Gerald and Stanislaus Moran of Roebuck, the managing clerk of Drummy's, Weatherup, Colonel Hayes, Nastiansky, Citron, Penrose, Aaron Figatner, Moses Herzog, Michael E. Garrity, Inspector Troy, Mrs. Galbraith, the Constable of Eccles Street Corner, old Dr. Brady with stethoscope, the mystery man on the beach, a retriever, Mrs. Miriam Dandrade, and all her lovers. The hue and cry, helter, skelter, pelter, welter, he's Bloom, stop a bloom, stop a robber, hi, stop him on the corner, next.
Corner of Beaver Street, beneath the scaffolding, Bloom, panting, stops on the fringe of the noisy, quarrelling knot. A lot not knowing a jot. What, hi, row and wrangle round the who-what brawl altogether. Stephen, with elaborate gestures, breathing deeply and slowly. You are my guests, the uninvited, by virtue of the 5th of George and 7th of Edward, history to blame, fabled by mother's memory. Private Carr to Sissy Caffrey. Was he insulting you? Stephen addressed her in vocative feminine, probably neuter, ungenitive. Voices. No, he didn't. The girl's telling lies. He was in Mrs. Cohen's. What's up? Soldiers and civilians. Sissy Caffrey. I was in company with the soldiers and they left me to do, and the young man ran up behind me. But I'm faithful to the man that's treating me, though I'm only a shilling hoover. Stephen catches sight of Kitty's and Lynch's heads. Hail Sisyphus, he points to himself and the others. Poetic, neo-poetic. Voices. She's faithful the man. Sissy Caffrey. Yes, to go with him and me with a soldier friend. Private Compton. He doesn't half want a thick ear, the blighter. Biff him one, Harry. Private Carr to Sissy. Was he insulting you while me and him was having a piss? Lord Tennyson, in Union Jack blazer and cricket flannels, bareheaded, flowing bearded. There's not a reason why. Private Compton. Biff him, Harry. Stephen to Private Compton. I don't know your name, but you were quite right. Dr. Swift says 1 man in armour will beat 10 men in their shirts. Shirt is synodoch, part of the whole. Sissy Caffrey to the crowd. No, I was with the private. Stephen, amiably. Why not? The bold soldier boy. In my opinion, every lady, for example. Private Carr, his cap awry, advancing to Stephen. Say, how would it be, Governor, if I was to bash in your Joe? Stephen looks up in the sky. How? Very unpleasant. Noble art of self-pretense. Personally, I detest action. He waves his hand. And hurts me slightly. Enfin, c'est son veau oignon. The Sissy Caffrey, some trouble as I'm here. What is it precisely? Next, please.
Dolly Gray, from her balcony, waves her handkerchiefs, giving the sign of the heroine of Jericho. Rahab, cook's son, goodbye. Safe home to Dolly. Dream of the girl you left behind, and she will dream of you. The soldiers turn their swimming eyes. Bloom, elbowing through the crowd, plucks Stephen's sleeve vigorously. Come now, Professor. that carman is waiting. Stephen turns, eh? He disengages himself. Why should I not speak to him or to any human being who walks upright upon the obligate errand? He points his finger. I'm not afraid of what I can talk to if I see his eye retaining the perpendicular. He staggers a pace back, Bloom propping him. Retain your own. Stephen laughs emptily. My center of gravity is displaced. I have forgotten the trick. Let us sit down somewhere and discuss. Struggle for life is the law of existence, but modern villainists, notably the Tsar and the King of England, have invented arbitration. He tapped his brow. But in here, it is I must kill the priest and the king. Beatty the clap. Did you hear what the professor said? He's a professor out of the college. Cunty Kate. I did, I heard that. Beatty the clap. He expresses himself with much marked refinements of phraseology. Cunty Kate. Indeed, yes. And at the same time, with such a trenchantcy. Private Car pulls himself free and comes forward. What's that you're saying about my king? Edward VII appears in the archway. He wears a white jersey on which the image of the Sacred Heart is stitched with the insignia of Garter and Thistle, Golden Fleece, Elephant of Denmark, Skinner's and Probin's horse, Lincoln's Inn Bencher, and Ancient Honourable Artillery, a company of Massachusetts. He sucks a red jujube. He is robed as a grand elect perfect and sublime mason with trowel and apron marked made in Germany. In his left hand, he holds a plasterer's bucket on which is printed, Defense de Uriner, a roar of welcome greets him. Edward VII, slowly, solemnly, but indistinctly, peace, perfect peace, for identification bucket in my hand. Cheerio, boys. He turns to his subjects. We have come here to witness a clean, straight fight, and we heartily wish both men the best of luck. Mahak, aback. He shakes hands with Private Car, Private Compton, Stephen, Bloom, and Lynch. General applause. Edward VII lifts the bucket graciously in acknowledgement. Private Car to Stephen. Say it again. Stephen, nervous, friendly, pulls himself up. I understand your point of view, though I have no king myself at the moment. This is the age of patent medicine. A discussion is difficult down here, but this is the point. You die for your country, suppose. He places his arm on Private Car's sleeve. Not that I wish it for you, but I say, let my country die for me. Up to the present, it has done so. I don't want it to die. Damn death. Long live life. Edward VII. Levitates over heaps of slain in the garb and with the halo of joking Jesus, a white jujube in his phosphorant face. My methods are new and are causing surprise. To make the blind see, I throw dust in their eyes. Stephen, kings and unicorns. He falls back a pace. Come somewhere and we'll. What's that girl saying? Private Compton. Hey, Harry, give him a kick in the knackers. Stick one into Jerry. Next, please.
Bloom, to the private softly. He doesn't know what he's saying. Taking little more than is good for him. Abstinent the green-eyed monster, I know him. He's a gentleman, a poet, it's all right. Stephen nods, smiling and laughing. Gentleman, patriot, scholar, and judge of impostors. Private Car, I don't give a bugger who he is. Private Compton, I don't give a bugger who he is. Stephen, I seem to annoy them. Green rag to a bull. Kevin Egan of Paris, in black Spanish tasseled shirt, and People Day boys hat signs to Stephen. Kevin Egan, hello, bonjour. Venez aggressive with the dense jams. Patrice Egan peeps from behind, his rabbit face nibbling a quince leaf. Patrice, Socialiste. Don Emile Patricio, Franz Robert Popenici. In medieval Hallberg, 2 wild geese volant on his hem. with noble indignation, points a mailed hand against the privates. With those Ike's 2-foot wooden big round porticos of John Yellow's totals covered up graving. Bloom to Stephen. Come home, you'll get into trouble. Stephen, swaying. I don't avoid it. He provokes my intelligence. Biddy the clap. One immediately observes that he is of patrician in lineage. The virago, green above the red, says he, wolf tone. The bawd, the red's as good as the green and better. Up the soldiers, up King Edward. A rough laughs, hands up to thee wet. The citizen, with a huge emerald muffler and shillelagh calls. May the god above send down a cove with teeth as sharp as razors, to slit the throats of the English dogs that hanged our Irish leaders. The croppy boy, the rope noose round his neck, grips in his issuing bounds with both hands. I bear no hate to a living thing, but love my country beyond the king. Next, please.
Rumbold, demon barber, accompanied by 2 black-masked assistants, advance with Gladstone bag, which he opens. Ladies and gents, cleaver purchased by Mrs. Piercy to slay Mog. Knife with which Vosson dismembered the wife of a compatriot and hid remains in a sheet in the cellar. The unfortunate female's throat being cut from ear to ear. Vial containing arsenic retrieved from the body of Miss Barron, which sent Satan to the gallows. He jerks the rope. The assistants leap at the victim's leg and drag him downward, grunting. The croppy boy's tongue protrudes violently. The croppy boy. Horhot, hooray, or Hotler's best. He gives up the ghost. A violent erection of the hanged sends gouts of sperm spouting through his dead clothes onto the cobblestones. Mrs. Bellingham, Mrs. Yelverton Barry, and the Honourable Mrs. Mervyn Tallboys rush forward with their handkerchiefs to sop it up. Rumpold. I'm near it myself, undoes the noose. Rope which hangs the awful rebel, 10 shillings a time. As applied to Her Royal Highness, he plunges his head into the gaping belly of the hanged and draws out his head again, clotted with coiled and smoking entrails. My painful duty has now been done. God save the King. Edward VII dances slowly, solemnly, rattling his bucket, and sings with soft contentment. On Coronation Day, oh, won't we have a merry time, drinking whiskey, beer, and wine. Private car. Here, what are you singing about, my king? Next.
Unmute, Duncan.
Let us stop here for today.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's next time let's start with private cars saying who wants your bloody money. Oh no.
Oh, Stephen.
Stephen. Yeah. Okay. So a reminder that the time change is happening in Ireland and Europe.
Oh, yeah.
This Sunday. So keep that in mind.
So Duncan, is the time change happening where you are?
Not
No.
yet.
No, that's the problem. The time
Oh.
change won't happen for us until the following Sunday.
Okay.
So
Right.
things will be a little goofy next week.
Okay.
But let's see, I think I took a poll last time and everyone's in Ireland and Europe said that it was not a big problem as long as
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. So would it be 6 o'clock for us so next week?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. But although I always encourage everyone to check with the Oracle on their computer. Let's see, it was a 23 and here a JJR. Okay, let me get pages if I can.
Gabler is 485.
Yeah,
And this- And the same
485. Mm-hmm.
on Bodley Head.
Yep. Okay.
Minus 524.
Penguin short. 524. And then we got
Penguin long is no, I'm on the wrong page. 692.
692.
Two.
Okay. And Wordsworth.
511.
Okay. And my goodness, could we have hit Halloween any better? And it was not planned.
Ease after that.
It was not planned. It just happened. Oh. So let's just talk a little bit about it before we close today. Somebody have any comments or questions that are boiling up right now?
Joyce was taking laudanum when he was writing this.
I think he was taking laudanum.
Laudanum, I reckon, when he was writing this. That seemed to be the treat of the day at the time.
But would he not have had a sip of absinthe since that was
He may have had that with it to wash it down.
oh, well, that would explain a few things right there.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed this time that I really had not focused on before was that after Stephen had his horrific vision of his mother and he smashed the chandelier, that he abandoned his ash plant. Which is kind of parallel to Bloom having his potato taken from him.
Does Bloom get the potato back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does. He gets it back. Oh, where is that? Yeah, this is after Bloom recovers his composure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where it is right now.
Is it
Lois,
in the
but-
text? Was it in the text we just read? Because I don't
Yes.
recall.
Yes, yes, it was.
Okay.
I'm back on.
I can check it myself then. Just have some perimeters.
Okay, so in Wordsworth, and Wordsworth, it's on 482. And Bloom says, oh, let's see.
You ain't backed up potato, will you?
I know he asked for it, but I don't remember him getting it. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
she took it from her
from the
From
reef of her
stocking.
slip,
Okay.
Mm.
revealing a
lifts
bare
it.
thigh, and unrolled
Yeah.
the potato from the top of her stocking.
Oh,
Those
right.
hides knows where to find. Just under
Yeah,
the little
exactly.
poem, give it 10
Right.
and take it back. God will ask you, where is that? There's 4 lines of doggerel there.
And to me, an important feature of that is that it's not that getting the potato. Bloom actually recovers
Yes.
from the kind of spell he's under before, and then he asks for the potato.
Yeah.
So that I think that's significant.
It
And,
is, yeah. The potato, people carried for no reason other than they believed it. They carried potatoes as a way of staving off rheumatism, and that would be why his mother had given it to him.
Oh wow, that's really interesting because
Yeah, it's kind of unusual. It puzzled me for years. Why would a mother give a potato to her son? But apparently, I don't know whether it works or not.
well, it's among some of the health food circles in the United States.
Yeah,
The idea was that joint pain was caused by tomatoes and potatoes,
yeah,
eggplant, and,
interesting. Yeah. Well,
so,
they're supposed to draw the pain out of your bones, this sort of thing.
Aren't they all sources of nightshade?
yes, that they're all nightshades.
Yeah.
Tomatoes and potatoes are nightshades,
Mhm.
and that was and also spinach is full of oxalic acid, and all these are supposed to contribute to rheumatism and joint pain, etc.
Mm.
Actually, I came across an ad on YouTube recently. It's one of those ads where you click the link to find the solution, which I didn't do, but basically they were saying that which of these foods causes arthritis, and they listed tomatoes as one of the foods, which I would have always thought was something that's good for the body rather than
Well,
bad.
It's quantity changes quality.
I'm glad you didn't click on the link, Jim.
Oh, so am I, Joe.
I think it's right next to the ads for things that will extend your penis.
That was probably the next click.
Yeah.
Been banned in Ireland, though,
Okay, so here's an odd question, if you don't mind. They had this thing where Bloom loses his button on the back of his pants.
Yeah.
Are there further references after this to that encumbering him in any way? Because
The only time I remember is afterwards when he's at home and Stephen is after leaving and he's in the front room where the furniture is all moved around. And there is a reference to the button gun there.
Yeah.
When he's taking off his waistcoat and he's counting the buttons down. Other than that,
okay.
no.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's catalogued. That's missing a button.
And there's a reference to the broken glasses as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Paula Dolan.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
and the priest.
Yeah, and that comes up in Portrait of an Artist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's an exact quote from Portrait.
Is it? Yeah.
I haven't checked it. I'm just a feeling I checked it years ago. It is.
Yeah, well, of course, the broken glasses there, happens with Father Dolan, and Father Dolan is referenced here also.
Yeah.
And
the piano.
Yeah, but before that, when he smacks the horse bum, and they say pandy, dandy, or whatever it was, the pandy. That's referenced there a few times.
Mm-hmm. But that was actually Lynch that slapped the
Lynch,
prostitute's bottom, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's where he comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of little tiny things.
Yes.
But you know, the overall thing, the big one, I believe, is of course, you know, Bloom and Bella doing that transformation thing that goes on, and then Bloom recovering. And then it seems like there's a weird thing where Bella somehow is temporarily changed into the nymph. And that seems to be when Bloom starts recovering himself somewhat. You know, because there's a whole long thing that we started with that today with the conversation with the nymph.
Hmm.
But as Bella takes the male form, Bloom equally takes a female or a feminine form. And she
Mhm.
leads to domination. So I don't know.
Yeah, and then he suddenly seems to he kind of turns back.
Yeah.
And he turns back right before he starts interacting with the nymph.
Hmm.
And then, of course, the other major thing is Stephen once again, you know, having the vision of his mother rising from the grave to torment him, which I think is really interesting to come right as Stephen is in wild abandonment. Suddenly the mother appears.
The nymphs
Spoiler.
had appeared in the
Irish
Calypso.
Catholic guilt.
Yeah, spoiled it.
When you're
The
having
nymph-
too much fun, the guilt rises.
I was just saying that the nymph had appeared in the Calypso episode,
Mhm.
and Bloom had framed the nymph and hung it over his bed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's clearly in his consciousness all the time.
But he framed it at his wife's, at Molly's request, right?
Was it? I'm not sure. Yeah.
I think that's the way that it worked. That they found it in a magazine. It was a magazine graphic.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's that whole thing when Stephen is trying to light the match,
Hmm.
and he's not doing it because apparently he's holding the match too far away. And Lynch, this is on 485 in Wordsworth, and Lynch says, Lynch is watching Stephen try to light his cigarette.
Hmm.
And then Lynch watching him, you'd have a better chance of lighting it if you held the match nearer.
Hmm.
And then Stephen's remark is brings the match nearer his eyes. Lynx eye must get glasses, broke them yesterday, 16 years ago distance. The eye sees all flat.
Hmm.
Brain thinks near far. Ineluctable modality of the visible. There's a lot packed in all that there.
Sure.
Okay, well, we could go on and on, but perhaps we have enough to nourish us for the day.
We need to let our brains cool down, I think.
It's a bit It did get a bit spiced up here and there, didn't it?
Sure.
Yes, a bit. So Sylvia, are you in Italy? Are you in Florence?
No, I'll be in Florence next week, so I need to work out my time.
Oh, right, because of
Oh,
course
wow.
it'll be well, actually,
It'll be 7 o'clock.
It'll be
yeah,
7.
just pretend you're in Dublin. And
Yeah,
it's regular
yeah.
time in Dublin and you'll be right on target.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going on Tuesday.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. How long will you be gone?
Until the 1st of December.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my goodness
Mom-
Very
gracious.
Yeah.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So it's like going home. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I like Florence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
Yeah.
lovely.
like
That's
Florence a
nice
lot.
city, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so well, I'm assuming I have I'm staying in a new place, so I presume I have Wi-Fi.
Okay,
Anyway.
well, I hope you do. I hope you
Yeah.
do. But, if you don't, I'm sure if you can't join us, you might find one or two other things to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we say goodbye and see
Yeah.
you next week?
Okay,
And
thank you.
Thank
everybody
you.
be